And we come to it at last. The end of the Pets trilogy. Or whatever. Yeah, so, if you guys have been following, I've been doing 2 other videos where I talk about Disney animals as pets for certain characters. I first started off with Gravity Falls, then went on to Ladybug, and now I'm going to wrap things up with Stormhawks. A show very near and dear to my heart, as much as you guys would know, and probably some to you as well. And yeah, I'm just going to and also, this is probably going to be the last of this pet series, because there's only an X amount of Disney animals to use, and I figured, might as well go out with a bang, for the rest of the Disney animals with Stormhawks. Because there's a ton you could use for Stormhawks. So, let's kick things off with, of course, the Stormhawks themselves. Kicking off with Arrow. Who do I think Arrow would have for a pet? Now you're probably thinking, well, what about Radar? Radar's not really Arrow has said he's not really a pet. He's more of a member of the team. He's his co-pilot. So if Arrow was to have a pet, I'd say Morph from Treasure Planet. Morph would be so fun for Arrow to have. Like he would just it would just be flying around his head and making like cartoon versions of Dark Ace and the other Cyclonians for him to be like, ha, that's funny, little buddy. Morph would just be so cute with him. I just want to see fan art of him, of Morph just fly, like, Arrow laughing as Morph turns himself into different things to make Arrow feel better about it after a hard day of work. So, Morph, definitely. So, Piper. Moving on to Piper, who would Piper have as pets? I was actually thinking the mice from Cinderella. I can't remember all their names, but I remember the fat one's named Gus Gus. Just on the soul ground, could you imagine Piper working on a new crystal, and the mice are all around her, either like climbing up her arm, or like sitting on her shoulder watching her work, or even like running around on her desk helping her get like certain equipment or carrying certain crystals for her. Yeah, it's just an adorable little image, and I think like they would be so cute with her, like she's having a bad day, and they would just like want to do everything in their power to cheer her up. It'd be so cute. Not to mention, like, could you imagine the like insanity they would get in with Radar? Like, they would just annoy Radar just because they're bored. Oh, man. That would be so much fun. So, Finn. Finn, I think, would have Timon from, of course, Lion King. Timon's just so laid back and so easygoing and so witty and sarcastic. I think, honestly, Finn would have a lot of fun. I think Timon would, like, make fun of Finn at some points. But at the end, they would just be, like, Timon would be laying on Finn's chest as they're, like, kicking back in a hammock. Oh, that'd be great. And, of course, Junko would have Pumbaa. Because you can't have Timon without Pumbaa. And, let's face it, Junko with a warthog, it just makes a lot of sense. And I think, honestly, with the disgusting shit Junko eats, I mean, it's not actually shit, but it's really gross, I think you could actually, like, see him eating bugs with Pumbaa, and you just, like, eat this big slug and just be like, slimy, yet satisfying. So, yeah, Junko with Pumbaa. Yeah. So finally we round out with the Stormhawks with, Stork. And who would have... Well, Stork was kind of hard for me to pick. Like, who could I honestly see with Stork in terms of, pets? And I kind of thought about it, I was like, oh yeah, this guy on the soul ground, it's weird. Hey Hey from Moana, the chicken. Hey Hey would be just a lot of fun because Stork would Hey Hey would be running around or doing just weird shit around the condor, and Arrow or Finn would be like, dude, your pet's really jacked up. And Stork would look away for a moment and go, yeah, it's a chicken, it does what it does. Like, he would just be so apathetic to it. He would just be so apathetic to Hey Hey. So, there you go. So, let's talk about other Stormhawks characters I could see with pets. Now, for Starling, I was actually thinking about who could be a good pet for Starling. And I thought maybe 2. And that is Chief and Copper, from The Fox and the Hound. Chief and Copper are, like, 2 big dogs that would definitely, like, I could see her, like, being hunting dogs for her, just tracking a scent, or when she's in a jam fighting Cyclonians or Raptors, she just gives a whistle, she just gives a whistle, she just whistles once, and Chief and Copper come bolting out of nowhere and just start mauling some Talons and Raptors for her. Yeah, It'd just be so, like, could you imagine, like, the fan art of her just sitting against her skimmer and, like, eating, like, a can of food with the dog sitting there, like, alright, here, you have it. So yeah, definitely, definitely Chief and Copper from The Fox and the Hound. Harrier would have, I think the pug's name is Pugsley from Pocahontas. Because, let's be honest, that stuck-up little thing would definitely... Like, you could see Harrier petting that pug, just as he's walking around being, like, Radcliffe. Absolutely. So, Suzy Lu would have either Todd... I kind of imagine her with two different pets. I kind of see her, one with Todd from The Fox and the Hound, Todd being the fox, and the other would probably be the raccoon. Again, I'm forgetting the name from Pocahontas. The name of the raccoon, I'm forgetting that one, I'm sorry. But either one of those I think would be cool for her. Or you could actually give one to Billy Rex, honestly. So let's go to the one you all came to talk about, and that is the Cyclonians. Kicking things off, no contest, Master Cyclonus would definitely have Diablo, Maleficent's Raven. Just her, could you imagine, like, Diablo, like, sitting on, like, Cyclonus' throne as she's sitting back and, like, judging someone, and it's just peering at its eyes down at this poor Talon that has pissed her off, or just flying on, or just landing on her shoulder, and just be like, yeah, scheming. Oh, man. Diablo would be perfect for her. Moving right along, Dark Ace. Dark Ace, I imagine, would have Hayabusa, Shan Yu's falcon from Mulan. And I could honestly see, like, him using using Hayabusa as an attack falcon. Like, he would just, like, throw his arm out and the falcon would go out, fly into some Sky Knight's face and just start pecking and slashing at it, at the dude's face, causing him to crash. It just, like, he looks menacing with a falcon. Yeah, I want to see fan art of that. Moving right along is Snipe. I kind of imagine Snipe with Shenzi, Banzai, and Ed from The Lion King. Just them walking around, like, it was circling around him, or just falling around him, and whenever someone gets, like, pisses Snipe off, he's just like, sick, he just tells the hyenas, sick 'em. Also, like, I could imagine him saying a really dumb joke, and them laughing at it. Like, genuinely laughing at it. So, next for Ravis would be Kaa from Jungle Book. And I know, well, you said that for Robbie. Well, Robbie is an asshole, so fuck him. Kaa would be so cool because, again, she would just feed her the talons in her command to this snake. And could you imagine her playing Trust in Me on her violin as this person's being devoured? Yeah, that's a horrifying sight. So, Kaa with Ravis with Kaa. And she looks like a snake person, to be honest. The Colonel, Flotsam and Jetsam from The Little Mermaid. Like, I can imagine him, like, holding someone over a tank. It just drops him in, the Flotsam and Jetsam just rip them apart. I'm just kind of having that scene in my head. And finally is Repton. Who would Repton have as a pet? This, again, was no contest. Joanna from The Rescuers Down Under. Could you imagine, like, Joanna, like, sitting in his lap, like, just as he's listening to someone his brothers who have screwed up, and Joanna's just like, yeah, you're gonna piss up, you're gonna kill him, right, boss, and I can eat him, right? I know Joanna's a female, but still. So, anyway, guys, that's pretty much, the list, of Stormhawk pets. I know I didn't talk about every Sky Knight and every other Stormhawk's character, but I was like, I'll just talk about the major ones. So you guys tell me in the comments below, who do you think would make good pets for the Stormhawks characters? Just comment below, let me know, and once again, hope you all enjoyed this and the other two videos, and I will see you guys later.